Today we want to dive a little bit into the topic of anicca. So, anicca is impermanence, anicca is change. And it is a central tenet actually of Buddhist practice in all traditions, in Zen tradition, in Tibetan tradition, and especially in the Theravada branch of Buddhism, which is what we're practicing in our Vipassana meditation. So we want to start a little bit with a short contemplation. So if you just bring your eyes away from the screen and start to notice what's around you, to notice the objects around you, to notice that your body is sitting here. To notice the sounds coming in. So we're going to contemplate impermanence a little bit on a more macro conceptual level. So firstly, just noticing the clothes you're wearing. And how we call these clothes our clothes, my clothes. But noticing that this has not always been so. There was a point these clothes were not your clothes. Before you bought them, before you received them. And there's a point where these clothes will not be your clothes anymore. Maybe you will give them away, maybe they will hide in your closet forever. Or this cotton will start to break down, will start to break. And it's the same with your body. So, looking at your hands here, this is what we call our hands. This is what we call our body. Our legs, our arms, our shoulders, our head, which you can't see. You can't see your head, but you can feel it. And you have a certain hairstyle, and you have a certain type of skin, and a certain skin tone. And there's the size of the body. But it was not always like this. Your body is changing and your nails are growing. Your skin sometimes is darker, more sun, less sun. Of course, and these hands have had injuries maybe. This body has had injuries. Every component of your body is shifting, is changing. The skin is replenishing, changing itself. And you were younger. You were 20 years old at some point. You were 10 years old. You were a baby at some point. So this body, as it is now, has come into existence and has transformed. And it will continue to transform. You will get older. This body will, the skin will change. The feeling of your body will change. Maybe there will be more injuries. Maybe the function of the muscles will shift. And at some point you will die. This body will cease to exist. So we have this body, we have these clothes, and maybe any other possessions around you. If you look around the space, if you're in your room, something you call yours, this heft, I call mine, I write my name on it. But it was not always so, and this heft is changing, it's getting older. Maybe it will not be in my possession anymore soon. And closing down the eyes, bringing to mind, who are you? How would you describe yourself? What do you look like? You have some image of yourself that you see in the mirror. You have some kind of identity. I am this profession, I do this. You have some kind of opinions, beliefs, some values you stand for. And all of this is changing. So was this image of yourself the same 10 years ago? Were these beliefs, this identity, was it the same as it is today? Was it the same as when you were 20 years old? As when you were 10 years old? And what we call ourself, our identity, what we know about ourselves, is it going to be the same in 5 years? Is it going to be the same in 10 years? In 20 years? Is it going to be the same in a week? Probably it will be similar. And the situation you find yourself in, your context, your environment, the friends around you, who you call your friends, your family, the setting, the environment where you are, the room you're in, the people you interact with, things you care about. This house. We take it for granted, we take it for given that it's existing as it is right now, but it's in a process of change. Your family was not the same 10 years ago, your situation was not the same, maybe your job was not the same. What you spend your time on is not the same. So all of this is changing. You can bring your attention back to the screen. The 3 foundations of mindfulness that we covered so far, the body, the feelings, the mind, kaya, vedana, chitta, this encompasses our entire experience. There is the experience of the body, there is the experience of thinking, and the pleasant, unpleasant sensations that accompany it all. The 4th foundation of mindfulness is not as concrete, is not as capturable. The 4th foundation of mindfulness is what we start to observe when we keep observing body, when we keep observing mind, when we keep observing Vedana. It's almost like different laws or patterns or characteristics that govern the way our experience moves, interacts with each other, how it changes by itself. So every meditation you've had has been different. So this category, this 4th foundation, is called the Dhamma's foundation. Dhammas means phenomena or nature. It is the nature of our experience. And in this Dhamma's foundation of mindfulness, there's different kind of Buddhist frameworks of seeing things. There's the 4 noble truths, there's the 5 hindrances in there, awakening factors. But they are essentially, to boil it down to something simple, it's the nature of our experience of body and mind. And the nature that we start to observe, the more we practice mindfulness, the more we apply sati, awareness, wisdom develops. So understanding develops about what is the nature of the thinking, what is the nature of the body. And you've already learned this nature for yourself in your experience. For 4 weeks you're observing, you're practicing, and maybe something has shifted in your relationship to your thoughts. Maybe you don't believe them as much anymore. When there's discomfort in the body, maybe you don't believe as much in this discomfort. So you start to have wisdom, you start to have awareness with wisdom into this direct experience of your body and your mind. And the idea of cultivating awareness is really to cultivate freedom from this body and mind, to understand how it works, to see it with wisdom, so that we don't create so much unnecessary stress or struggle for ourselves. And one of these primary characteristics that we are practicing to keep seeing is the characteristic of anicca. It's one of 3 characteristics. We'll go to the other 2 in the following weeks. But this anicca is the Pali word, and anicca means impermanence. It means things are not stable. They are always changing. They are not constant. So they might seem constant for a while. So just now we contemplated like our body and my hand. Okay, my hand right now, if I don't contemplate it, this is my hand. This is how it is now. But if I start to contemplate it through time, I start to see it is not something stable, constant. It is something changing. The experience of it is changing. How it looks is changing. Maybe it takes a while to change. Even what I call myself, my identity, my beliefs is changing through time as I have different experiences. What I call my family, my environment, my situation, my job, my occupation is changing. So things are not stable. Things are not as stable and permanent as they seem. So where Vipassana goes is not only to know this change conceptually. So we know that, okay, I understand that this thing is changing. We know it intellectually with our thoughts. And we know it on the conceptual level. But we also want to really know it in our direct experience, in our moment-to-moment experience of our body, of our mind. A good example, our meditation practice. If you bring to mind your meditation practice, it is like one thing that you do. I'm going to meditate for 1 hour, and the meditation is like this, or it's like this. You apply certain concepts to it. Today's meditation was difficult, today's meditation was easy, was peaceful, was pleasant, not so pleasant. And especially in the beginning, when we start meditating, we have a certain idea of it. In the beginning of the course, I ask you, what is meditation for you? Meditation is peace. Meditation is self-awareness. And then we start to do it. We start to practice the meditation, and we start to look more closely in the experience. 1 hour experience. What happens in that 1 hour? There's a lot of thinking going on. There's a lot of body sensations. There's hearing, there's seeing, there's ideas happening, thoughts about the meditation, thoughts about other unrelated things. And this thing, this solid, stable idea that we call meditation is actually an experience. And we start to go deeper into that experience and look, what is that experience? And that's where we use the noting, the labeling. Hearing, seeing, thinking, feeling, unpleasant, pleasant, hearing. the phenomena that make up this block of time that I call meditation. And if you're starting to really be with the present moment experience of what is, not just the idea of the body, but the experience of the body that you can sense moment to moment. Right now, as you listen to this, there is the experience of your body. There's sensation, there's touch, there's feelings internal to the body, feelings caused by external things, the seat, the floor. There's the experience of hearing now. If you close your eyes, there's the experience of hearing. And you can identify different things you hear. I hear the aircon, I hear the leaves rustling, I hear a dog barking in the distance. And look closer at what is hearing. Hearing is not a stable experience. What you hear is changing. Even within one sound, within the sound of the car going by, there's different notes, different tones. Many moments within that. If you get up from your chair now, I got up from my chair. You got up from your chair. This is one idea, one concept. I got up from my chair. But what is the experience of getting up from the chair or sitting down again? Look closely. There's different sensations. Different muscles, feelings. Maybe even you can detect different thoughts. Like a sequence of thoughts or actions your body takes to get up and sit down. And if you close your eyes again, just noticing all your senses are changing. Hearing, seeing, sensation. And also your thinking. What thoughts? Maybe there's a certain mood or flavor behind your thoughts at the moment. Maybe you are more relaxed, more agitated. And the experience of this agitation or this relaxedness is not something stable. It's already changing. If there's something unpleasant in your experience, notice the feeling of that thing. Can you keep that feeling stable or permanent if you try? If you look closely and try to keep it stable, does it stay permanent? You cannot even make it a permanent experience. You get distracted. There's thoughts which come in, there's other sensations, sounds which come in. or even you stop doing the exercise and you stop noticing it. So we have the phenomena of our experience, which we are developing our awareness of. The phenomena of the body, the phenomena of the mind, phenomena of Vedana, pleasant, unpleasant. And we start to notice that they are all shifting. They are all beginning and ending. Sometimes beginning and ending at a larger macro scale. This mood begins at some point. This mood ends at some point. But also at a micro level, at a moment-to-moment level, there is impermanence. Impermanence is an interesting topic because when we start to struggle, when you start to feel triggered, when you start to feel annoyed at a situation, at a person, at yourself, when you start to feel upset about something that you did, about something, state that you're in, about some situation, usually there is quite a strong feeling that this situation is permanent. We are fighting against something that we make into this black and white box. This is like that, this is like this. And it's quite black and white, it's quite stable. We need this. In our idea, in our concept, we need to create some kind of duality, some kind of, the situation is like this and I don't like it. And in order to fight against it, in order to struggle against it. And what we are learning to do with this practice is just to keep noticing that it's flowing, it's shifting, it's not so stable. There's an example that happened to me 2 days ago when I was biking with my uncle and my partner, and there was some situation where she was a little bit annoyed at me, and in response there is reaction inside me. There is reaction, emotional reaction. There's kind of annoyance. An annoyance that I feel annoyed right now. I don't want to feel this way. I want to enjoy this nice bike ride. Why I feel this annoyance. And starting to tune into how this annoyance is changing. There's some sensation of the annoyance, some contraction in the heart, chest. There's thoughts, stories coming up, sentences about it. And just noticing this spectacle happening. Okay, the thinking, the contraction is changing moment by moment. As we start to tune into this change, into this impermanence, I sensed more space. Eventually it changed completely, it shifted, it went away, it passed. So in our meditation, we're practicing this. I was talking to a student a few days ago who used a wonderful example of her meditation is becoming more like a house with open doors and open windows. Previously, she said her meditation was more, she was trying to close the doors and not letting anything in. And her meditation was about sitting in stillness inside this closed house. But where we're trying to go with Vipassana practice is open all the doors. Open the windows, open the doors of this house. Let the things come through. Allow them to be there for as long as they want. Allow this mood, this emotion to come inside, and eventually it goes and comes and goes. If there's no pushing away of it or no holding on to it, naturally it goes. The joy comes and goes, the sadness comes and goes. The unpleasant situation comes and goes. The pleasure comes and goes. This is the practice of tuning into anicca. So, for this week, we have our meditations, and we have the rest of our day. And what you can just start to notice, you can notice at a more conceptual level, situations I'm in are changing. What I'm spending my time with right now, my role I'm taking right now is speaking to you. But it changes. My role changes throughout the day. My environment changes. The room I'm in changes. And the sensations change. The sensory experience throughout my day changes. My moods change. My states change. The experience of the body changes. Now, if there's a feeling of sitting, if I stand up, it's not like this anymore. Now there's feeling of standing. The sound is changing. And so now that we've developed awareness of body and mind, we start to tune into this way of looking. And change, anicca, is one of these ways of looking that can help to open up freedom and perspective into what is. Thank you very much for joining. And I hope to see you in the Q&As. And good luck with the practice this week.